All right. After that minor little snafu there, everything sounds much clearer on both Dakota's and my side. So I'm looking forward to getting this show back on the road again here and like actually hearing the conversation. So I do apologize for the inconvenience here, but sometimes that's just the way technology wants to roll. Because I got a new Zoom Pro Track P4 and I want to try it out. And I was like doing a bunch of testing today and everything was coming good on my end. Now the trick was like, how was it going to show up on the other person's end? So with Zoom, it did not quite cooperate like it should, but it is what it is. You learn and move on from there. Now it's like we're going to have a much easier, clear conversation than we once had. So Zach, it's not Zach, but Dakota, man. Anyways, we were talking about the Sportsman's Channel there, and you were explaining to me on like how you interacted for it. There's different contracts, and can you give me some more breakdowns? Like, what was actually, why don't we do this? How was the vetting process? How did you get picked up to be brought into their lineup?
After I had that one in there, and I pitched basically I had to put together an episode, all edited form for Sportsman's Channel specs and everything, and went in there and basically I pitched them what my show is about, what we do, and everything like that, and had to show them that film that I did, and then they said they'd get back to me and let me know if they would be able to accept it on there. And about, I'd say probably about a month or two later, and then they emailed me and accepted me, and then we kind of figured out my different times that were available and got that all figured out, and then did the contract, and that's kind of how it started for the first season.
Okay, so you were telling me one of the things I picked up on is that they have a set of parameters for a video. Can you break down like what do they expect out of a video?
Okay, yeah, basically it has to be in 4 segments, and you can basically make them as long as you want, but basically you have to have 4 segments for each one, because in between each segment they have to have for the commercial times. And so editing wise, you have to leave a gap. It's a 15-second gap there, but that's where they somehow fit their 8-minute commercials in there between for the whole show like that. And then you have to have it's in the contract, different things. Like for the endings, you have to have Sports Channel in certain spots, and they have roles also for different films of what not to show, what's not really just kind of not ethical stuff to put on there, and just try to keep it clean too. It's not bad for kids and stuff like that. And I mean, a lot of it is good stuff. It should be on there, and it's a big thing you have to really read and pay attention to. But it all is in for good.
That's good. That's what makes sense. I'm glad they were able to provide just parameters on it. So I'm assuming one of the things is there's obviously no swearing.
Yeah, you can say like one or not like bad ones, but basically they don't want any cussing on there or anything like that. And
that's good to hear.
Yeah, and then there's like they also say ethical shots in some of the videos. Like if there's I don't know if you're out in the mountains, or if there's a deer on top of a hill, there's no trees or nothing behind it. They don't really want to be showing like you shooting at deer, like stand at the top, just because basically saying you don't know what's on the other side of that hill. I mean, which you might not know, but the viewers might not, and just try to keep it from people getting mad on television that are watching it. But I just thought that was kind of something I never really thought of, and makes sense and everything.
Oh, yeah, it does, because you always need to know what's behind your target. And if you're using a rifle, or if you're using a shotgun or a bow, you don't want to be shooting up at something and you don't know what's on the other side of it, because the hunter, you may know it's 100 acres of just wooded land, but as the viewer, and in this considering this toxic culture we've developed over the last, I don't know, since 2013, we've noticed that we've seen a decay in type of common sense, and they want to make sure we continue going through that, because we do something wrong, it gets 10x, because there's so many antis out there, and we want to try to put the best foot forward. That's why you see in most hunting groups on like Instagram or Facebook, they don't want anybody bashed. They don't want to be talking down towards them. They want only but positive reinforcement and such, because that stuff gets echoed and such. And you get the wrong bad actor or character in there that's a non-hunter, they're going to exploit it. They're going to run with it.
Yeah, it's true. And yeah, there's just so many people out to get the hunters anymore. It's pretty sad, but yeah, you just kind of got to watch so you don't have to deal with that. And I try to do my best with that. And yeah, it is sad though how it is. It's not very good, but there's nothing you can do, and just watch what you do and just try to be as ethical as you can. Just be a hunter.
Oh, true. Very true. With your contract, your agreement with Sportsman Center, do you get the Outdoors channel? Do you get like royalties or kickbacks, or how does that work? Or or is it just kind of like an internship program? It's like, if your content does well, then we'll bring you on for another year, and then your perks get better.
Yeah, kind of like that. And I mean, I had another meeting basically every year now, but if there's a problem or if you did something wrong, I mean, they have every right to kick you off and everything. But yeah, as long as you're doing good quality content and you don't have a bunch of problems or anything like that, basically you're most likely guaranteed the next year as long as you want to have your contract and do it again. I think it's no problem to do that, because I mean, they want good quality shows on there and just quality footage, and just make sure you're doing it right. As long as you're doing that right, I think you're basically guaranteed for the next year and everything like that.
Well, that's good to hear. Then do you get to work with sponsors, or do you get to deal with gear or new tech?
Yeah, because I actually have to pay to be on there. Like, they don't just let you on there. They don't pay you. You have to pay for your time slots on there. So we've tried to basically make our money. I just try to cover the show, which I haven't done that yet, but I don't really care. I just enjoy doing it all. I just try to go out there and get sponsored, or else to try gear out and show that on the show, or else they give you product and you give them content back is kind of what we do and everything like that. But yeah, just anything from sponsors, and even just using their gear on the show is basically how we do it.
Oh, okay. So that's a little bit more understanding of what's going on. So you actually have to pay to have your show on there. What's the price tag on that then to get your season on there?
It ranges. I've heard all kinds of numbers. I mean, it can. I mean, I've heard some ranges all the way up to. I've heard some shows are paying $250,000, which I don't do that, because I don't on my show. I don't pay for that many episodes, but I mean, I heard some shows are that big, and mine's changed year to year, but I don't play near as high as that. And it's just kind of whatever they write up, I think is what they charge basically. So I don't know what the price tag is on all of it.
I gotcha. All right. So that's good to know. So those are listening to this and they do want to try to get their show on a channel that's, at least that gives them an idea. Now, are you exclusive only to the outdoor channel?
Yeah, one thing with my contract, I have to wait like 6 months before I can take that and put anywhere. That's why I'm coming up on the 6-month mark for my first season there. So I'm going to eventually put that all on YouTube, but basically it's got to be just on there. I mean, you can do Instagram stuff, just some short stuff, but I'm definitely going to look into this year and talk to them and see if I can just maybe have because I like doing my short 5 to 7 minute films, like you said, and just have the hunt and the kill and all that on there, and see if I can do that and post them like a week or two after the harvest actually is. And just because I like the YouTube aspect of it and being able to show them right away. And then I'll be able to wait till the season comes on television and have the full story on there. I'd like to do that. So I got to talk to them and see if I can do that and see exactly how that would work out the contract.
Ah, okay. Because this way, when the season does air for you on the Sportsman's channel, you can, this thing is you can take all what that episode is, you can take those, you can create shorts during the like leading up to the airing of the show, and then once the show airs, then you can show more clips and stuff, like kind of like teasers, basically trailers, because you're on there on Tuesdays at 11 a.m., mind you, Friday at 8 a.m., Saturdays at 9 a.m., and then 5:30 a.m.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're actually on there at 5:30 a.m. Saturday, then at 9 a.m., correct? Is that how it should be reading?
Yeah.
Okay. I was looking at your post there on your Facebook there to make sure I'm reading that correctly, because there's like, I can understand 5:30 p.m. So, all right, that makes more sense. And let's see here. Since you've done this then, so have you had anybody reach out to you and ask you for brand placement then, for like, whether it be a archery sight, archery bow, particular arrows?
Yeah, I've had a couple of different just companies, and a lot of work I do is they're at the shows and meet people in person and basically talk to them, introduce myself, and then some companies they are interested and they want to reach out, or else I'll reach out to them and try to work something with them. And I've had a couple of companies reach out to, even on social media, and ask about the show and talk about their company or product and want to advertise it on there. And that's how I've worked it basically anyway. And that's just anyway, if you'll reach out to me or I reach out to them basically. And that's how a lot of it happens. Yeah.
All right. I got the thumbs up from Max saying that the audio is good to go. So that is a good sign to go. So obviously it must have came down to my soundboard. So at least that know that I have to get back to the drawing board and then spend some more time like working in house. Normally I test this stuff out with my wife, but she's got a migraine. So it's not, I can't really do a whole lot with it right now with it. So it is what it is. It's mostly primarily to do for smaller in-person face-to-face. Now, have you thought about taking Legendary TV and transitioning that also into a podcast?
Yeah, I've thought about it before. Me and my brother have actually talked about it. I mean, it'd be something to do and something interesting and just talk about stuff. We've talked about it. Yeah, I mean, we haven't done it yet, but we'd definitely be interested in doing something like that.
So I think what a good way to do is I've seen this is what Meteor does with their podcast is that the same week that the episode comes out, they'll also drop an episode on their podcast. Now it's all about talking about the particular hunt, but they get to be a little bit more in depth about it. They try to keep it well. They're a little bit more world renowned, so they're going to have they're able to get away with doing like a 90-minute to 120-minate podcast afterward to provide more details on what they encounter with it, telling stories and such. But they also do a lot of stuff that's on public land majority of the time, and also they do some private stuff as well. But that's one thing I like about them. They don't do outfitters, so everything they do is like it's all trial and error, and that is what kind of really was why people really respect them to be able to do that, is that they're able to do all this on public land, kind of like the hunting public there out of Iowa too. Iowa's like they battle between them and Texas for the least amount of public land access. So most of their content has to be driven outside of the state just because of the lack of public land.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. That's a good idea for sure. And yeah, I've definitely thought about it, and that I like, be able to talk more in depth in the story like that, have more of a time to do it. That's something, definitely to think about, and we'd definitely be interested in doing someday for sure.
Because then what you could do is after you get done recording, after you're done filming the hunt, whether it was successful or not, or however you're going to do it, then you can just sit down like, okay, we're going to use this episode. It's going to air on the Sportsman channel. So then you can just turn around and do a podcast. Usually try to do a podcast within the first 24 hours because the memories are going to be far more fluent in your mind. It's this way you can kind of go through the whole process. And I think that's just an extra way to add value to your product, to be able to go the next level for people that are listening to it. So they like your show, like, hey, does he have a podcast? Because it's like these days, when you have it's a clothing brand or you have a show, you need to have a podcast to go along with it. The best part is like you don't have to, like we already with Adobe Premiere, so there's tutorials on how to use the Adobe for audio and such. Or if you want to go something a little bit easier, you can always go switch towards like Audacity. I know a lot of creators will use Audacity just because it's free. There's a lot of tutorials on it to be able to learn how to create a better product overall. That's why I still use Audacity, because it produces really good stuff. There's a lot of good tutorials out there and go from there. So I haven't really seen the need to purchase a license or anything like that for an audio aspect. Adobe Premiere, yeah, you got it. You can't get by with a cracked version or anything like that. It just doesn't quite. When they do a new update, it pretty much just wipes your version out.
Yeah, that's good to know. And yeah, the audio, that's something I'll need to know if I ever do it. But yeah, I didn't know anything about what you're using there. That's something good to know for sure.
Definitely, man. So then, are you going to incorporate fishing as well, or are you just going to keep it with hunting?
We do some fishing. And I do like it. I haven't got to do much the last couple of years. I like to, but yeah, I mean, I have no problem putting that on there and doing that. And I mean, I put, I think, an ice fishing video on there. It's a short one a while ago, but I've thought about and definitely want to start, filming some fishing and do some even just different fishing I've never done before and film that. That's something I've even talked about and thought about too with my brother. So definitely something I'd like to do also.
Awesome. And I see that you actually have merch as well. I think I really like your logo. It's very clean and it's very crisp. And especially with your hats, I'm a hat guy. It's like if you watch my online content or my YouTube stuff, I'm always wearing a different hat. I've never worn this. I got so many of them. My camera's so far away I can't turn it to show everybody. But I have easy 20 hats in the wall, and I'll just grab a new one and throw it on there. But it's all people that have either I bought the hat or given it to me. But it's like it's just good to always have it because once I record the video, it's on YouTube and it's going to stay out there as long as I keep the account active.
Yeah, I like hats too, and I'll definitely have to send you one out there.
That'd be awesome. I appreciate the gestures. Now, do you have any shows coming up? Like you have any expos underneath your belt you're going to go to this season still?
I might go to the Ohio Deer and Turkey Expo. I think that's the 17th, 18th, and 19th. I might go one day to there, and that's about it. I went to the Nashville show, and then I went to the Great American Outdoor Show, and obviously the ATA show as well. But yeah, I might just do the Ohio Deer and Turkey Expo down in Columbus there. I think it's March, 16th, 17th, 18th, or 17th, 18th, 19th. I'm going to go one of those days. I think I'm going to try and go.
So since you've been to the Great Outdoor Show or Great Outdoorsman Show, what is that all like? Because I know like it's absolutely massive. I know like what was it last year? They had 213,000 or something like that in the 9 days it was open.
Yeah, it's definitely it's in a huge complex and a bunch of rooms put together. I've won a few times, and yeah, it's definitely the most packed show. I mean, you're shoulder to shoulder, and there's tons of people going up and down those aisles. I went on the last day on Sunday, and it was a little more spaced out. Probably my favorite time ever went was on the last day on Sunday there. But I mean, there's everything there, and they have a 3D shoot they do, but it's a big area that will hold fishing hall, a whole boat hall for all boats, and then they have a huge room full of outfitters to book hunts from hunts all over the world. There's all kinds of hunts in that room. Then there's numerous rooms. There's an archery hall. There's 2 or 3 arenas. They have a concert there the one night. It's a big show. It's a big deal.
Nice. Now, are you going to follow the footsteps like Whitetail Adrenaline based out of Wisconsin? Are you going to start doing the circuit once you get to a certain income level to start having this beautiful display? Because have you ever seen their display?
Oh yeah. I've bought all their videos. I've been a big fan of them for years. It's pretty awesome. And I talked to Jared this year for a little while. Yeah, it's a pretty big. Yeah, it was the biggest I've ever seen it this year. It's very impressive.
I know that I always like going by their booths because it's just so pretty because they got that beautiful display for the LED lights, and along with all of their merch and their DVDs and such, they really kind of set the standard when it comes down to like showing how to grow that. Same with the hunting public, working class bow hunters. I know the OKS Hunter podcast, they're going to be this weekend going to be down in Iowa. They're going to be doing a booth too, and I actually I'm hopefully to have a chance to talk to him where it wasn't too busy, because he did one last year at the Dells here in Wisconsin for the open season there, and I never followed up with him to find out how it turned out. If it was the ROI there to spend I think it's $600 for the weekend to get a booth, and is it worth the money?
Yeah, that'd be something neat to look into. And yeah, I definitely would be interested in doing it. And I definitely have looked into. I'm gonna actually, I guess, yeah, in August there's a show in Ohio. I've actually just been talking to them at that Jurassic Park where I do those hunts for the disabilities. They have a big thing there called the Jurassic Classic, and it's usually the first weekend in August. I think we're gonna have our first booth there. I'm just kind of kicking around and talking to him, trying to figure out prices on that and seeing. Yeah, I definitely want to see if it'd be worth it or not. But I think we're going to do our first one there, just see how it goes, just because it's local to us there, and I know the owner of the place and everything. So, but yeah, we're definitely would be interested in looking into going into some more shows down the road here. Yeah, once we get bigger and just try to grow as much as possible, we'd definitely be interested in getting get in the booth in some more of these shows and trying to get our name out there.
I think that's a great start. It's like you said, it's local. You might be able to get a discounted rate to set something up there to play and get your foot wet in the whole process. I think it's a swell idea.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I'm gonna look more into it, but yeah, it's real close there, and definitely be just good to get my feet wet and see how it goes.
For sure, man. Then this way, do you do 3D archery in the summertime, or are you just busy with the excavating business, the detail work that doing a 3D shoot's a little difficult?
Yeah, that's one thing I've never done. I have a bunch of friends of mine and people I know that do them all the time, and I'm pretty busy during the summer doing that. But I'd like to make some more time and do it because I really enjoy just shooting my bow, and and I see the videos, I watch them all the time. Guys going through the woods and do those 3D shoots and doing all that. I really interests me a lot actually, and I'd like to try and do one this summer sometime.
They're so much fun, man. I highly recommend doing it, especially if you can't do it on a Saturday, but get out there on a Sunday on an easy leisure stroll and such. But that's how you can create more B-roll. This is where you get your short content, because I have a friend of mine. She's an archer here in Iowa, and some of her videos had a couple 100,000. All it is just basically her drawing back and sending an arrow down range, and that's it. It's her husband. He catches her from a side view, then he pans over the back of her, and then he zooms in, so this way you see the arrow land right into your target. Now, since you already have the cameras and you have a squad of people to help you out, that would be the next thing to do, because not only that, it's like not only bringing more, developing more content for Legendary TV, but now you're showing back to support, because if I see a really cool shoot in Ohio, I was like, I want to go shoot that because that's gonna be pretty fun. Kind of like what happened with me going out, like I'm going to be going out to Mountain Archery Fest in Beaver, Utah here in a couple weeks, or a few months actually, and I saw it online. I saw that it looks really fun. It's geared for family, and I got a bunch of friends that want to go to it. So it's like, no brainer, man. Then here in Wisconsin, we have the HHA USA shoots, and those are all to help pay for the honor flight to go out to take 99 vets and take them to DC and have them walk around the war memorials and stuff like that. And it's a very rewarding experience. Plus, there's you get to meet a lot of cool people. It's kind of like a family reunion for us. It's like kind of like our meet and greet. Most of us don't drink, so it's even better. And it's just an opportunity to meet new people, network, because we're bringing all kinds of people. Like I've got to meet. I wasn't able to see Tim Silva, the UFC fighter, but I got to meet Johnny Mulligan and a bunch of other folks that are like Jeremy Fisher from the Toxon App, along with Ben Klausman from Sodak Horizons. Like, there's a lot of cool people that you get to hang out with and meet.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's pretty neat. I like that, and yeah, definitely makes me want to go. Definitely go start going to, and yeah, you never know who you're going to meet anywhere, and it's definitely a great way to network, like you said, and that's pretty awesome.
Cool, man. So, are you going to be doing have you been putting your tags in anywhere to do a out of state hunt to Montana or to Maine or someplace?
I bought some points in it was Wyoming for mule deer and antelope. I bought them last year, and I think I'm gonna try and buy some more this year. And I'm looking into buying I think an elk point there, or apply for a tag there. I think they usually say about 2 to 3 years. I was looking up online, but I definitely like to maybe do a bow elk hunt out there and everything. And yeah, definitely. Yeah, some people have been telling me, some older guys, that they say that the best thing to do is just to keep buying points and applying for tags out west or states you can't, because he's like, they get harder to get every year. And they say just to keep doing it. It's just a great experience when you draw them.
That's 100% true. Or if you're lucky, like I know Utah, in some areas you can get an over the counter one, like for late season muzzleloader or something. So you have opportunities. But here's something you may have not thought about, like up there in Maine, you actually have a higher probability of drawing a moose tag in Maine than you do out in Montana or even Alaska.
Wow.
Yeah, because Maine is a sleeper when it comes down to it. There's a lot of moose up in that area that you have an opportunity to actually play in. I found this out from the Forgotten Trail Outdoor group. They're based in, oddly enough, Ohio, Pennsylvania, all along the Great Lakes there. And they've been applying up there for trying to get, they haven't got drawn yet, but they're continuing applying up there. But it's kind of a flyover state that nobody really recognizes that there's big game up there. You can also got big black bear too as well. So you have an opportunity to be able to get to a tag there. And nice thing is like too, if you ever want to come to Wisconsin, we don't like, well, this is for whitetail. It's dirt cheap. It's $160. It's far cheaper than Illinois, far cheaper than Kansas, far cheaper than Iowa. And plus, if you want to, Minnesota, $160.
Man, I didn't realize that. Yeah, those states are expensive, real expensive. But yeah, I didn't realize that that's that cheap up there. That's something. I didn't know that.
And similar to Ohio, our season starts the second weekend of September, runs all the way to January 31st. So if you're busy all the way up in that time, you still have a pretty good chunk of time to go after it. The only downside is if you do it after the holiday hunt, but it's from Christmas to New Year's, that a lot of the public land area, I tried hunting the last month, and I bounced around to different properties, but they were just dead. They were just quiet. I didn't walk in. I just basically I had areas that I knew where the deer would come out at. And I would just sit there and I would just sit in my truck with my binos in the warm and just waiting to find out. Cause in this way, then I'll set for nightfall. And then the next day I would come back out again. So it's like, okay, cause if there's deer moving, well, then there wasn't too much pressure. Then I can get out there and justify getting up and driving, well, enter between 5 minutes to an hour away to go set up.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a great idea. But yeah, definitely, I'm going to look into coming out there for sure. I mean, that's something.
Oh yeah, and if you want to come out here, you want to hunt. I live next. There's a lot of public land in this area that I already have mapped out on my Onyx map, where I can tell you where you can come out and hunt with. And hell, I'll come home with you too. That's the best part about like being in the world realm we're in. It's like you gotta take advantage of some of these offers because you never know because time is the most precious thing we have, and you never know when that ticket's going to get punched.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. And yeah, I'd love to come out there and hunt with you. And yeah, you have to come out here to Ohio, and we'll do some hunting out here sometime.
I need to take advantage of that right now, but it's like this whole season's like I have two big fishing trips to Okoboji, one in the fall, one in the spring, and then I have hunting seasons. But it's just that balance of everything to be able to go through that. So the nice thing is where the company work, I accrue so much PTO. It's like, I just take advantage. I just need to figure out time to come out there that's prior to a gun season and get out there and enjoy it. Cause I have so many friends that live in Ohio that it's like, it makes sense just to go out there. Like I got Cameron Stover from huntinggeardeals.com. Then you have Appalachian Chase. Those guys out there too. Like there's just a lot of cool people live in Ohio. It just sucks you have to deal with Norfolk Southern.
Yeah.
I've been really paying attention to that. And there's they have what they call hot boxes. And what it is a sensor that sets on the inside of the track and it points up and it reads the temperature of the bearings as it goes over the top of them. But see, the thing is that the reader doesn't go to the conductor. It goes to somebody that's a middle management manager, and it's up to them to make the determination if it's going to tell them or not. And so what we've seen, there's actually footage of them in Salem. There's a town that was going on its way out to East Palestine going eastbound where it passed and there's a camera that caught the flame. And it's like, why wasn't this stopped? So, but as we've been learning it, as things have been progressing, that these railroad companies are not taking response. They're not doing the next level to inspect these things. And it's not the guy's fault. It's not the guys out there working the 10, 15-hour days, 16-hour days. It's the upper management. They're not giving them the time to do it. They're not giving enough staff to go out and actually thoroughly check everything. Because these bigwigs, they don't live in these areas. And so therefore it's like if something bad happens, such as East Palestine, it's not my problem.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy.
And you look at AAR, which is the lobbying agency for railroads, big railroads for Union Pacific, BNSF, and Norfolk Southern. They're actually trying to push for it to have legislation passed so this way they have immunity to these massive catastrophes, similar to what they do with Big Pharma. Big Pharma was the Child Protection Act of 1986. Once that got passed, no pharmaceutical company is held responsible for damages to your loved ones, your kids, your family, any of that stuff.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's the situation we're in right now. And it's being hushed up because we have the weather balloons, all that other fun stuff. So it's something that we have to, as outdoor conservatives and conservationists, we need to pay attention to stuff, because if that passes, I live literally 100 yards from a railroad tracks, and I also live right next to the Mississippi. Now they're already talking about how the East Palestine spill is actually going to trickle down in the Mississippi, and guess what's at the boot of the Mississippi? New Orleans and all that fun stuff. So it's going to contaminate all of that.
Jeez, yeah.
So when you put it in a bigger perspective, it actually comes down to the conservative, the working man, actually need to the conservationists are like, hey, this stuff needs to stop, because we're going to end up running into situations where it's going to poison everything. And get this, most of our freshwater fish have PFAS, which is they're forever chemicals. They're found like Teflon, especially over there in Pennsylvania. That's where Johnson or DuPont makes Teflon from. Teflon is a forever chemical, so it's in the water stream. So if you have somebody that gets cancer, all of a sudden it's like they don't know where it came from. It's probably a correlation with that, besides other things that we have in our environment.
Yeah,
which is just frustrating, because once you find out where it's at everywhere, then it's like, well, man, we can't eat the fish, we can't eat the wildlife, we can't eat the cows, we can't eat the chickens. Everything is like in the States is toxic.
Yeah, it is something. It just trickles down. Yeah, it's I ain't good.
Yeah, that's and we got to understand that our vote doesn't really matter anymore, because we've learned that with the can't say it on the YouTube, but the 2020 E word shows that they're having issues. Like there's a lawyer in Arizona that's actually found evidence linking can't remember the gal's name. Let me see here. It is Katie Hobbs. She's down in Arizona. She got elected this year, and there is evidence linking her to the cartel, the Sinaloa cartel. So we don't have to worry about Russia in Arizona. You got to worry about the cartel. So like apparently there's money laundering. There's properties that have phantom deeds, and there's a lot of sketchy stuff out there. And the lawyer found all this stuff. He figured he's just trying to put everything together. Now the biggest thing is we don't want him Epsteined or Clintoned or however you want to put it.
Yeah.
Get this too. There was last week. There was a plane with 5 environmental scientists from SeaTech. They're coming out of Arkansas, out of the Clinton airport, to fly into East Palestine to do all the testing. It didn't make it, unfortunately, and 5 scientists lost their lives, because they're probably going to be the nail in the coffin against Norfolk Southern. And so with that being said, it basically send a shockwave out to all scientists is, don't touch this, otherwise you're going to your family is going to get a life insurance payout.
Yeah, man,
isn't that something, man? It's like it's like you see all this. It's like these are conspiracy theories saying, well, this shit's actually fucking happening.
Yeah.
Now, anyways, getting back to Legendary TV, man, what is your overall goal for Legendary TV?
I just want to keep growing it, getting it on as many platforms as I possibly can, and I wouldn't mind hopefully maybe be able to do it for a living someday. Which people do it, and I'm just gonna keep working towards that. It's always been a dream of mine to always have a show on television. Now I got that, but now I want to be able to actually grow it and be able to maybe make some living off it, but still do it the way we always have, and do it with my family and close friends there, and keep meeting people and just try to do it as long as I possibly can.
That's fantastic. I like that goal. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that you want to cover?
Not that I can think of. We are looking going on to. Have you seen that Carbon TV app?
I have. Some of my podcasts are actually going to make their debut on there.
Really?
Yeah.
We're actually having a meeting with them here next couple of weeks, and then we're going to try to get Legendary TV on there as well, so we can just really try to get it as on everything we possibly can. Basically, be able to put stuff weekly on there as well, kind of like YouTube.
Congratulations, man! That's pretty badass, dude. You just got to keep grinding, man.
Yeah. It's nonstop, but I enjoy it very much, and Just love it.
That's awesome. And then you just pay attention to your analytics. You already got merch, which is a great thing to have. You just need to get your subscribers up to 1,000. But the biggest thing though is getting the 4,500 watched hours within 365 days. That
Okay.
is the real grind. That's the real grind. And it if you get it done within the first year, that's awesome. If it takes you 2 years, 3 years, don't feel bad because it takes a while. You got to learn. You got to learn SEO, which is search engine optimization. You just always constantly asking questions. That is the biggest thing, because like I'm grinding to do it. I'm finally reached over 100 subscribers, so make sure everybody go down and hit that subscribe button, smash it real fast, but just leave a tab open and try to get those watch hours up, because that's the biggest thing. Because if you, let's say, whatever your first video is, you have 365 days for those views, for those watch hours to count. Every day after that, those watch hours fall off.
Okay.
So that's something you got to think about when you're doing it. So it's a learning curve, man. It's a lot. Then shorts are going to be how to grow. And then on top of that too, you can monetize shorts, but YouTube, it's like something ridiculous. I got to do like 10 million views. And it's like, good luck with that, man. Cause we're in a self-efficient niche that it doesn't really take off, because it's like, we're not promoting sexuality. And YouTube, Meta, Facebook, you can actually get monetization from Reels as well too. But if you think Sportsman's channel is difficult, try doing Meta, because those guys do not like people that can be self-sustaining.
Okay.
So that's another way to monetize it from there. And on top of that too, as well, you can always work sponsorship deals or affiliate links too, as well. That's a big thing. Like for me, Mountain Man Medical, RPG Coffee, those guys right there, they have affiliate links that I really appreciate. Like RPG Coffee, they have their profit modules. Like 50% of their profits go into their veteran organizations that they established to help get veterans from off the streets into normal life. And so they help them to go through and get them into a halfway house and getting them cleaned up and get whatever they need to get them going to get back into society as a well-rounded person again. And then the other one is Mountain Man Medical. These guys are based out of Colorado. The Mr. McLaughlin, he is a former service member. He is a medic. He's got a very big knowledge from him, but they have high quality products and they're made in America. And it's like, if something goes bad, that's the kit you want to grab. They have tourniquets. They have all kinds of different things that will really benefit a guy that's, whether you're whitetail hunting in Ohio or you're backcountry hunting in Wyoming or Montana or Washington or up there in Canada or even all the way up there in Alaska. They have things in there that can help a guy out. But that's just food for thought for you. It's something to look into, because then when you're doing a product placement, then you can go ahead and say, hey, there's a link in my bio or link tree. Go click on that. All those product, like all you're doing is all I'm doing is taking that money, investing into it, either upgrading your mics, upgrading your cameras, getting better lenses for your unit stuff. So it's a way to be able to do that. And it's like, I want to provide the community with more value.
Yeah, that's great advice. And yeah, I'm definitely gonna use that for sure. I really appreciate everything and just all the help.
Yeah. And are you on TikTok yet?
Yep, I actually just started that a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, I just finally learned that. And yeah, it's definitely a lot different, but I can definitely see it's going to be a lot. I get a lot of views on it.
That's how you grow. That's right now. Way it's been broken down to me, and I educate folks, is that Facebook is MySpace. Instagram is Facebook. Snapchat is Instagram. And so it's like, as you can tell, they're starting to get phased out right now. TikTok is the current one right there. But the nice thing is, like, a hidden sleeper, LinkedIn. That's a sleeper.
Okay.
That's where you take your editing skills and you market there. And you show off that stuff. And if you're good enough to create tutorials, it's a great way to show people how to do it. Like I'm not a very good editor myself when it comes down to video. Audio, I'm pretty mediocre on, but it's like that. If you're really good at it, it's like, hey, this is what I do. These are steps I do it. And you create the tutorial to walk somebody through how to simply snip a video or put closed captioning to it.
Okay.
you know how simple it is? Like finding something that's well edited, put together really well, and it's something that's quick and easy to figure out.
Yeah.
Starting with step 1 to complete.
Yeah.
All right, man, dude. So we hit a lot of topics. You said we hit everything you want to talk about. Anything we should be looking for in the future from Legendary TV?
We're just gonna try to start doing those weekly uploads on YouTube, and then our season 2 will be on Sportsman's channel starting in September. It'll be our first episode towards the end of September, and it'll be those same times, 4 days a week. And other than that, just keep following along, and we'll keep posting and keep putting as much content as we can out.
Fantastic, Dakota, man. So everybody that's still in stream, thank you for hanging on and watching us hang out. I'm going to put this information in the show notes. I've already put the YouTube channel inside of the chat. So this way you can go click it, make sure you go and drop a subscribe and hit the notification bell. So this way you can catch all of their content, and please leave a tab open. So this way you can get those watch hours up for him, because he really wants to provide solid quality content for his audience and for his watchers. So I want to say thank you for everybody for tuning into another episode of Bucks of America podcast. And this episode will be out on Wednesday.